Happy Friday, one and all. Welcome to the final show of the week for the Disney Morning Show featuring Kyle and with Doobie. I am the Doobie, Mosley, founder here at Laughing Place. Over there is our managing editor, Kyle. You may notice.
You are, by the way.
Did I say founder? Wow. I'm sick, and it did not come, especially since we're having the other co-founder on today. I'm in new digs here. It's because I'm sick, and so I'm working.
Is that the improv?
So if I sound funny or a little out of it, there are reasons. But the show must go on, says my hard-charging boss. So here we are to close out the week, and I always go, woo, with that countdown song. You should see us rocking out to that countdown song. We're pretty into it, too. Right,
maybe I can put a screen recorder on the green room and put that on the Discord sometime.
That would be fun, actually. That would be fun. Be careful. But that would be fun. we don't do anything during the show not worthy.
Well, I would edit. I was saying I would record it and then just share it after.
Oh, I thought you would just share it live.
No, that would be hard to do.
Yeah, but you've got talent. All righty, the Disney stock today. Oh, let's refresh. This is like from hours ago when I set up this page.
Hours ago. Still doing well.
Apparently it refreshes itself. It's up 1.5% today, which is a significant amount. If you had invested $100 yesterday, overnight, you would have $100 plus 1.5%, which is really good. So
that's a whole dollar.
It's $1.50, right?
Yeah.
But overnight, that's impressive.
Yeah. I mean, that's like if you lost a tooth, the tooth fairy would give you $1, and maybe
you do that every day compounding. I mean, you've turned that $100 into what, like?
Unfortunately, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
I declare bankruptcy. All right. So as you can see, it is really well. You can't see because the banner's there. I can see, but as you can soon see, dude.
Interesting. They went with Avengers Campus, something that's not new. They broke their water theme, and now they're like, well, we haven't built anything in a while. Let's just talk about something we built a long time ago.
I don't know, Fantasy Springs or something. Trending well over
they don't own that.
Couple weeks. I think they can probably use it. Don't you think?
They could use it, but they're like, hey, look at this great place that you're not making money on.
Freeze or the die freeze. They get paid the more people go to Tokyo. They want Tokyo to do well. Do they not?
Okay. No. I don't know how it works.
All right, let's get to a hurricane update. Hurricane Helene has
now back down to a tropical storm.
Back down to tropical, good. Worked its way through Central Florida, certainly causing plenty of damage around the country. But we are going to find out what it did to Central Florida and what's going on today.
Yeah, obviously it impacted Central Florida, but it hit in what they call the Big Bend, and then mostly went into southern Georgia there. But as far as Central Florida, it seems there were tropical storm force winds. It sounds like everything. So last night they ended up canceling like Not So Scary, Halloween Horror Nights at Universal, and we talked about the mini golf courses and the water park being closed. Today, everything's back to normal. However, there are a couple parks where that's not true. Legoland Florida is open, but Peppa Pig apparently suffered some damage, so they are cleaning that up and they are closed today. But as for the rest of the theme parks, that it sounds like it's back to business as normal. If you had a ticket for last night's Halloween Horror Nights, they'll still honor that for any of the events. There's one tonight, and they're up through the 29th, I believe, is when you can use that ticket. And yeah, so relatively minor impacts for Central Florida, but of course, it was on the other coast where things might be a different story.
The Disney Wish?
We don't know.
The Disney Wish had to delay its arrival time on the east coast of Florida. So those of you who are boarding today, and you know this already, but I'll put it out there, they're asking you to push back your arrival time by 5 hours, but not past 7 p.m. So a little extra cruising for the prior cruise and a little bit less for the next cruise. Of course, Disney World was open yesterday. Not So Scary was canceled, and they did some compensation for people who were staying at one of the Disney World resorts. They had trick-or-treating on site. I saw a TikTok from that at the Grand Floridian, but in people saying this was happening at their resort, wherever they were. So kind of a fun little treat for those who couldn't have their expected not so scary. And then, of course, people went to the parks despite the lot of rain that was happening there. So a couple of mini pocket picks I'll be showing here. Someone give her a raise because I would have listened to Elsa. The auto here, which I'm not playing, is Let It Go, of course, and she is doing her best to hold on to those, which is very adorable. And this one from Animal Kingdom. You hit that button. Nothing like a Disney hurricane. Check that out, man. But parks are open. People are going.
I mean, that looks like 3:00 on June on most days, but yeah.
I love it. And of course, if you can brave the weather, that is the time to go. I saw another one where they were hiding in, it looked like the Adventureland Bazaar, showing the Aladdin carpets going around, and there was one carpet that had someone in it. So if you can brave the weather, the crowds are tiny. It's the time to go. Hey, Bloom, how you doing? Thanks for joining us today.
And to show that things are back to normal, this morning we are at Animal Kingdom. You can follow our tweets for Jeremiah's adventures around.
Is he now? Oh, cool.
That's him. Somebody's there.
And it was windy and rainy, so sometimes, obviously, the park's open, everything's fine, but sometimes there's a little bit of residual damage to walk around and check out. So if there is, I'm sure Jeremiah will be sharing that on our social medias.
This theater suffered only minor damage.
Kyle, you're good at the references. Did anyone ever tell you make quick references, Kyle? Have you ever heard that about yourself?
Yeah. Or mostly, I don't get you. I don't understand your references.
I understand your middle initial. Agatha All Along did well.
As far as we know, it's 9.3 million views in the first 7 days of streaming, and you might be asking, oh, how does that compare to other shows? And the answer is, I don't really know, because they only tell us once in a while, and they choose seemingly random number of days to present it as. So there's no real way. There's no apples to apples comparison here. They didn't tell us how well WandaVision did. I think the Loki did more in it in fewer days.
Right.
But that's like one of their top ones. So yeah, I think they're intentionally vague and just throw out something they think sounds impressive.
Yeah, the news is that they put it out there. We don't know what the number means, but Loki did slightly more in only 3 days. This is a 7-day period for Agatha All Along. But they did decide to release these numbers. Most of the times they don't. So that's probably a sign that they consider it to be doing well. I don't believe they released numbers for Acolyte, and that will not be seeing a season 2. All right, Kyle, believe it or not, we've got breaking news. This just in. We've got a trailer. Oh, no, we don't care about that. We've got a poster.
Or key art.
This is key art. But when it's in the shape of a poster, I feel like it should still be called a poster.
If they hang it somewhere, you're right. I don't remember if they called it a poster or a key art. I'm not going to be technically Tony about it. I'm just saying, I don't know. This is Hulu. They don't usually, I don't know if they're posters or key art. They use different things.
This is for something coming to Hulu on October 18th. It's called Fanatical, the catfishing of Tegan and Sarah. Are you familiar with this story at all? I'm
not familiar with the story, but I'm familiar with Tegan and Sarah.
Yeah, so apparently...
And you are too. I know you know at least one Tegan and Sarah song.
I do? What is it?
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team. Yeah.
I had no idea. I thought that was Chris Pratt.
Well, I mean, there's different versions of it, but they sang the credit version, and they sung it at the Oscars when that was nominated, along with Lonely Island.
Yeah, well, thank you. So apparently, many of their fans were catfished by someone claiming to be one of them and building tight relationships when it turns out it was not them. And so this is kind of the story of that. And there is a pretty extensive trailer available. This is where I learned all this information. So if you want to see that trailer, you can find that on YouTube. Of course, you can find that on Laughing Place as well. But I love true crime. I love true crime that doesn't always involve someone dying. It makes me feel a little bit better about watching it. So kind of looking forward to Fanatical, the catfishing of Tegan and Sarah. Kyle, you remember yesterday we talked about
the Thankfully, I do remember yesterday.
Disney was happening. Disney was doing.
Yeah, about not laying off people from ESPN.
Yeah, it was strictly like corporate, HR, finance, stuff like that. And then just a few minutes later, Zach Lowe of ESPN, one of their NBA reporters, was laid off in a effort to save dollars, apparently. And so if you are interested in such things, if you are interested in such things, I know most of our viewers aren't real sports people, but if you are, or just interested in Disney corporate, there's a lot of talk out there about this. Someone named Bill Simmons, who is kind of a commentator / really into the industry itself, has a lot to say about this. So I just implore you to go check it out on the internet if you want to learn more about what Disney is doing to ESPN and at least how sports people think that is impacting how ESPN and therefore Disney cover sports. So that's why I bring that up. And sad to see Zach Lowe go.
Founded The Ringer, and this guy came from The Ringer, right?
I don't know if he came from The Ringer. You're probably right.
Okay.
And Bill Simmons also used to work for ESPN. I mean, he founded Page 2 and was there for a long time before he left or was kicked out. I don't know how he left ESPN anymore. Should have had Rebekah on for this part. She's
I watched his show on Bill Simmons. I watched his show on HBO that he had for not a very long time. I think it was called Any Given Wednesday or Any Given Thursday. One other day of the week that was not Sunday.
And then he went to play for the Philadelphia 76ers, and then he got traded. No, that was a different. I should have mentioned earlier that we have guests today. So we have our own Tony Betty to talk about the weekend animation. And then we are instituting a brand new feature called Foodie Friday. And we have to do it on Friday because nothing else alliterates. So Foodie Friday, and that will be with my wife, the other co-founder of Laughing Place, Rebekah. So it is now time to bring on, we don't have a cool name for it, but his name is Tony Betty. And he does have an intro. And there it is.
And now, joining the show is someone very special. We have a mutual friend in Wally. He's the Doobster's favorite person on Earth, and he's a tub time extraordinaire. You know him. You may or may not love him. Here he is. Drumroll. Technically Tony.
Technically Tony. How are you doing?
I'm good. You know, Foodie Tuesday works too.
You're right.
It's not alliteration, but it rolls better.
No, you're right. Okay, so we will ask Rebekah if she prefers Foodie Friday or Foodie Tuesday.
Foodie Tuesday.
Maybe we'll shift it around from week to week. Maybe we'll give her two. Foodie Tuesday and Foodie Friday. That pathetic ghost is still hanging back there. How's your week been, Tony?
What?
How's your week been?
It's okay, I heard now. Yeah.
What did you think I said?
Wait, how's your weight been?
That's a little personal.
It's fluctuating. I had some ice cream to ride the storm yesterday, so
we're talking about all that food. That's what happens when you eat on Tuesdays and Friday.
I'm glad you heard that too, Kyle. My week has been good. You know, we had a storm blow through here in Orlando. Not as bad as
that's right.
Orlando was spared mostly. But yeah,
the tree branch didn't fall.
Yes, the tree branch is still not fallen. I have that down to kind of reduce the backlighting, but outside there's a tree branch dangling like a little drumstick on a string, and it cracked at the beginning of the storm yesterday, and nobody parked under it. Then somebody got brave and parked under it, and it's still just swinging there right now. It hasn't fallen yet.
I can't believe you didn't record an on-the-spot weather report for us, Tony.
I was off. I'm hourly.
Okay. That says that. Nikki B, who I believe wears some very thick glasses, says Tony reminds me of George Clooney. Just saying.
It's the salt and pepper, but thanks, Nikki.
All right, where are we starting animation, Tony?
Where are we starting? Well, the big news is, in my opinion, the Pixar shuffle, as it were.
Okay.
Not to be confused with the Super Bowl shuffle.
Oh, but I thought it was a brand new dance sweeping the nation.
It would be highly rendered in 4K. So there are 2 Disney Plus original series coming from Pixar. The Dream Productions, which was kind of teased around Inside Out 2's release, and then officially confirmed shortly thereafter. And then more formally announced at D23, the Ultimate Disney Fan event in Anaheim. And that seems to have been, I'm not going to say rushed because it has been in progress for a while, but bumped forward from a 2025 release to now December 11th. And then that kind of booted Win or Lose again to February of 2025. After we've been, Win or Lose was announced in December of 2020. And we all were kind of expecting it shortly thereafter, and then it kind of got boom, 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 boom again. The first original long form series from Pixar is now due in February instead of December 6th, like originally planned.
And it was announced in 2020. So it'll be
Yep, at the Disney Investors Day.
Yeah, one of those like Investor Day live streams that we watched forever ago.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay.
To give you context, Win or Lose was announced the same time they announced Lightyear, and Turning Red.
Do you know anything about it? I know you're our Zach Lowe. Any insight into this?
Is that the hardware store guy? Who is that?
He might be working at a hardware store now.
Okay. So Win or Lose is a long form series, animated series, and it follows a baseball team called the Pickles, and I think it's a playoff game or a championship game or some kind of game, right? And it's like a little league game, but it's baseball, and it follows each episode's a different person involved in the game somehow. One episode might follow the mascot, one episode might star like and follow the pitcher. Another I know is supposed to follow one of the siblings in the stands who's bored. So I'm excited to see how it turns out. So apparently they screened the first two at D23. They did a recent press event, low level, at the studio where they screened one episode for folks based on other people I've seen post. But yeah, and now we're waiting till February instead of December.
Well, Tony is the biggest Pixar fan I know, and I'm sure he'll be covering that for LP. What else, Tony, should we mention from animation since the last time you were here?
Moana 2 has a new TV spot out. This kind of gives us a little bit more about what's going on.
We looked at the breaking news of the new poster yesterday, but we did not actually watch the TV spot, although we mentioned its existence.
We did mention it.
It exists. But I watch it. It's not drastically different from the trailer we've already seen, but
new song, don't you?
We do hear a little bit more of the song, yeah, or a song, because there's supposed to be several. Not by Lin-Manuel Miranda though.
Which so we're not going to have a rap verse.
No. I think we'll be spared of that. Sorry, Doobie.
That's okay. So what's this Kiff thing?
Oh, I forgot. That might be bigger news personally than the Win or Lose shakeup. Thank you for pointing that out. Kiff has a standalone Halloween special, one of two specials. Kiff is cranking out fans similar to Big City Greens. It was compared recently to like levels of Big City Greens fandom, and it's only in its first season because it's being rewatched so many times on Disney Plus and streaming services that they have their own standalone Halloween special and supposedly a Christmas special coming up, but they are two holiday specials, so we would just assume Christmas, right? And those have nothing to do with the current season we're waiting for, which is debuting next year, season 2. But if anybody watched the first season of Kiff, they have a pretty good Halloween episode to begin with, Trevor's Rockin' Halloween Party Bash, which has one of the probably top 5 songs in the series, the Scarm song. And I'm very excited for another Kiff Halloween on October 5th. Don't bother me.
Are we going to do your bit for the review?
the chunky review?
I think we should do that. Like, we could put the image as like the main thing, but then put the text below it so that it still can have a chance at ranking. But yeah, I think you should do your Kiff Halloween special review in the form of a chunky text.
So for those who don't know, in the show Kiff, there's an episode, it's called Love in the Time of Cheese Caves. And there's a whole song dedicated to one of Kiff's friends, Candle, and who sent a very long text that destroyed a friendship, because it's a YA show, so it's a friendship, not any kind of relationship or anything like that, but destroyed that friendship with a very massive single text that's called a chunky text, and is probably the best song in the series. Some might fight me on that, but yeah. And it also is a rap.
So Tony makes his living at Laughing Place watching animation and writing about it, which is just a dream job. So you do our animation episode recaps too. So I'll just quickly ask you, how are things going on Primos?
So let me tell you about Primos. Primos.
I could find out about what you think about Primos by going to the Primos Wikipedia page.
That's true. It is a very diverse show. It's got a very large cast. For someone who has to watch it week by week by week, I'll just start by saying the main character, Tater, has 2 siblings. So there's 3 characters right there. Her parents, 5, and then her grandparents, 7. Then she gets invaded by 12 cousins. So basically my point is there's over 24 characters I have to follow the story arc for.
Do you have a spreadsheet?
I might, that might help because I have to constantly wiki their names sometimes. But, yeah. But in Primos, recently she has a new best friend, which is another character to add to the mix. And she wants a little alone time, and so do I after watching Primos. But Tater wants a little alone time, and in the most recent episode that I remember, I think, is she makes her best friend stand in as her double, her segundo, even though that's not the Spanish word for double in that context. And kind of it takes on a Prince and the Pauper-esque storyline ish, and then they all the cousins start embracing the idea of having a double.
And then I know another show you're a fan of, according to your headline, tackle the subject that you fear, Hansel and Gretel and AI.
Oh, I won't talk about on AI because what's the name of that theory? But there's a theory out there that if you mention AI anywhere at some point, it will remember you and then come for you.
Like Beetlejuice? Okay.
Like so, Beetlejuice. I don't think that's how that works. No, you summon Beetlejuice. If you mention AI, there's a record of it somewhere.
Okay. Fine. Tell me about Hansel and Gretel this week. A little bit.
So Hamster and Gretel season 2 came out 2 weeks ago. We're now getting into that. I've prepped episodes for this week because they're doing them back to back right now. So I don't know what is the one this one's about. The ball pit. Oh, so their main villains in the pilot are Fist Puncher and the Destructress. I can never say that. There's too many R's in there. And one of them has decided to be good and not evil, which is a kind of a plot hole if you're following the whole series, because at the first episode, when they are given their powers by the aliens, they are told, you must use these for evil. So I don't know what's going to happen.
Hold on.
What are you?
Oh, do you have it?
For?
I can't find it. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Oh, wait.
Now, just a minute.
Is that all for Hansel and Gretel? If so, then I have a question.
Basically, yeah. Okay. Without spoiling what's coming up, because I've already watched. So a lot of these episodes for Hamster and Gretel are now available on Disney Plus and the Disney Now website, because the Disney Now app is no longer functional. Although it still works on my Apple TV. Of what's already there, you can still access. But moving on.
That is hilarious.
But you can still access all the new stuff on the website. And but they dropped, I want to say 6 or 8 episodes on Disney Plus, so you can get ahead of what's dropping on Disney Channel via Disney Plus right now. That's kind of how Primos launched with 9 episodes, and we have surpassed those 9 now. I think we're waiting for another drop, but yeah.
So I have a question for you, Tony.
Okay.
Earlier this week, we talked about a show special that's coming to Hulu, an animated special, and I couldn't even play the trailer. I'd never heard of this thing. Are you familiar with Solar Opposites?
Oh, Solar Opposites. I know of its existence. I have not watched it.
Okay.
He only watches kids animation.
YA, and that's not only what I watch. I need to actually watch the new Terminator, like it's an anime style. But moving on.
Couple other not really animation things, but that came up during the week that I just put aside to talk to Tony about. Star-Lord, dash or no
Talk
dash?
to Tony topic. Dash or no dash? What does that mean?
I heard you got called out, Star-Lord, with a hyphen.
Oh, I have been told there is a hyphen, and I am not one to challenge it because Marvel is not my forte.
Okay, so I wasn't. My real question was, did you challenge it when you were told that? Did you make your case?
That is one where I'm like, okay, I'll trust you. I thought you were talking about the face character. Do I approve of it or not? And even as not a fan of that franchise, no.
That is a good question. Yeah, that was an interesting Instagram. Toy Story Zoetropes, which one of them it go ahead, Tony.
So as far as I know, there are two. So I don't know why you make it sound like there's a series of them, but go on.
No, that was the question.
That was the question.
How many
Okay, I think there are two. Oh God, I don't know where the second one is. I want to say it was in Paris.
There was definitely one at Walt Disney Studios Park in Paris.
Okay, I don't know if it's
haven't
still
gone
there.
into that building in a long time, so I don't know if it's still there. But the first time I went to Paris, it was there. So that's why I was thinking that there were two. And I just wanted to, I said on the air that I thought there were two, but that's why we're asking you.
I'm fairly confident there are two. And then the other one was in the animation building at California Adventure, where it's now it's the meet and greet for Anna and Elsa 11 years later. And then it has been relocated and now sits at the Academy Museum, which apparently it will be part of a special showcase on their upcoming free admission day this weekend.
Yes, that's exactly what we read. All right, before we let you go, Tony, one other thing, since you wrote the article this morning, just to give us a quick highlight on the springing this on you. Hope you're ready. Last night's documentary Emmys, what were the Disney highlights there?
A lot of National Geographic. JFK One Day in America. I don't remember what it won for, but it won. Path of the Panther also won. And the big one that I caught on to was like the set design and like just look of it was Stan Lee on Disney Plus. I thought that was cool.
I didn't know documentaries had set design.
It was something like that, yeah. Yeah. Can you pull up? Because if you got the picture, you're right there. It's going to have the actual win.
Yes, I can.
Well, you had W. Kamau Bell as the featured image. What was he for?
He was the host. He was the host.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you asking what it won for? Art direction, set direction, and set design. See,
thank you.
Art direction, set decoration, scenic design. Wow.
Yeah. You know, I'm pretty sure that's also just called production design. But
for T. Hunter McCann and
part of the Disney family, he appeared on What Would You Do last season, so it counts.
The Mark Summers game show with the pie coaster?
No.
Oh, that's no fun.
Great. Before we let you go, Tony, what you been working on? What you got coming up?
Well, I have the sad, tragic news that Mother Superior herself, others will call her Professor McGonagall, Maggie Smith has passed away at the age of 89. So, Romeo and Juliet fans, I'll send you some tissues.
First movie Gideon was in the theater for.
Romeo and Juliet?
I mean, he was asleep the whole time in the stroller, but yeah, he was there.
I was not in a stroller, but I was right there with Gideon. Sorry.
Rocking along to those Elton John songs.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, Romeo and Juliet, fantastic. Good stuff. I love every adaptation of Romeo and Juliet is solid, including that zombie one, Warm Bodies.
Tony Betty, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We will check his schedule and have him on again sometime next week.
Okay. Or you can just ask, but that's fine.
You know when you start early next week?
Not offhand, no.
Okay, then I can't just ask, can I? Bye, Tony.
No, it's just the way you said we will check his schedule. Like, I'll do it.
I said bye, Tony.
And the rest.
Disneyland Hotel has reopened. Just casually play that. Disneyland Hotel has reopened some checkpoints. It's now a little bit easier to get security checkpoint, a little bit easier to get from the Disneyland Hotel to Disneyland and into downtown Disney through the checkpoint that was there before. You don't have to go back around to the other side of the dive flying restaurant. So Yay for that. All you people
Does this
staying at
also
the
mean
Disneyland
that you
Hotel.
can get over to the hotel easier instead of having to go through the door that you're only supposed to go through if you're staying at the hotel that I totally did not go through?
Is that door really only for hotel guests? I mean, it's
The
a
gate,
door. It's right there.
Well, the gate over there said hotel guests only. And I'm like, why?
If you pull it, does it open?
It was held open for me. I think you're supposed to. I think people might have had to actually tap their keys.
Anyway, what defines hotel guest? If you're going to eat at a hotel restaurant, aren't you a guest of the hotel for that
I was
period?
going to go buy some mouse ears since apparently you can't get them embroidered at the downtown Disney one anymore.
If you're spending money there, they want you in. If you're just going there to be a mooch, that's a whole different story. First look for the Hulu documentary called "It's All Country."
It's all relative.
So they're releasing some photos from that. It is coming to Hulu on, come on, Doobie, November 15th. And I know Kyle's a big country fan, so he'll be watching it. See, he knows it all. 6 episodes, all dropping on November 15th. Every country song carries an untold story. Country music icon Luke Bryan is delving into the lesser-known aspects of Nashville to uncover these stories. The series includes never-before-seen performances from country music artists as Luke reveals the inspiration, secrets, and personal experiences that have influenced the music fans love. I anticipate lots of dogs, lots of pickup trucks, lots of ex-girlfriends. Should be quite entertaining for country fans. Let's see. The Simpsons, Tapped Out. Are you a fan of Tapped Out? Do you play that?
I have never played it. I've heard of it.
Okay. Well, I would not advise you to start playing it now. It's a little late. They have announced that it is closing on January 24th of next week. This is a mobile game by Electronic Arts.
On my birthday? How dare they?
Happy birthday to Kyle. Don't play the game. It's been around for 12 years, so they gave it a run. Hard to complain when it's been around for 12 years.
And you know what happened to them now? They're tapped out.
They got tapped out. Yeah. In-app purchases already have been disabled. And finally, the story making waves all over the world. When the story gets way past Disney fan sites into the Post and the Times and probably local news, a Torrance woman was arrested at California Adventure. 26-year-old magic key holder. You may have seen the video. That's why it made big news of her being taken out in handcuffs with her kids crying and her yelling obscenities. So she was a magic key holder and allegedly had at least 4 prior attempts of trying to sneak her kids into the park in the past 2 months, claiming they're under 3 when they're not. And then she was uncooperative when they asked her about it. And ultimately, you got nothing you can do but call the cops and take her out in handcuffs. And that seems to be what happens. So that is that. All right. It is time for another guest here on Laughing Place. We don't have her. She doesn't have her own intro yet. But Kyle, can you play our other intro?
Yeah. I'll play it. We're doing the jingle one, right?
Yeah, of course. Hey, Rebekah.
Hey, I've
How you
been
doing?
relegated to the back room of the house because you're sitting in my studio.
That's my pillow you're sitting on there.
I am.
Or maybe it's yours. I don't know. I love that.
Yeah, so I'm here to talk about the Jollywood Nights foodie guide. I thought I'd have a little bit of fun with it because there'll be a link here, and if you want to read all the food that's available, you'll be able to go check it out. So I decided to I'll showcase some of my favorites. Give me a moment to hit this button right, because like I say, I am in a makeshift setting. But let's see.
Usually Rebekah would be here and I would be somewhere else, so we're having to make do.
Yep. So I thought I'd start off with the couple of hearty items that caught my eye on the menu. Over at Pizza Rizzo, they have an Italian beef sandwich. It's got those sweet and spicy peppers and a Berea sweet and spicy pepper pesto. It's the one in the upper left. It's a hearty sliced beef sandwich. It's going to come with an au jus. That's over at Pizza Rizzo. And then at the commissary, oh, hey, that's not the right picture. But over at the commissary, there's a Berea taco that sounded really good. It's shredded short rib and Monterey Jack with a beef consomme. So both of those. See, I'm not even gonna ask you guys like what one. I did stick around for just a little bit because I did actually come up with I think something that Kyle will actually eat off of the
Burrito taco does look good.
Oh, okay, okay. So burrito taco. I'm learning
The
what you
Italian
guys
beef,
like. Okay,
I'm not a huge fan of. I kind of like it, but Worcestershire sauce is just too weird for me.
gotcha. So a lot of times at these events, they have a number of items that you can tell are clearly Instagrammable. And so I thought I'd highlight them and then ask you. I got 3 here, and then you guys tell me which one do you think is the most Instagrammable. Okay, we're starting off with a it looks like a small like waffly donut thing, and then it's got M&M pieces and some frosting and a little fedora because it's a Perry the Platypus homage here. This is going to be in the Starbucks cafe. And then there is this delightful, this sounds super tasty to me. It's a Coca-Cola fudge filled cherry white chocolate chip brownie covered in Coca-Cola buttercream. And then it's got little homage to Duffy on it. So this is over at Ice Cold Hydraulics. And then finally, over at the commissary, there's this dessert item called the Talk About a Holiday Cookie. And it's a cranberry cheesecake filled chocolate cookies dipped in cranberry white chocolate, pistachio whipped cream, gold pearls, holiday decor, holiday sprinkles. Okay, Doobie, of the taco cookie, the Duffy brownie, or the Perry the Platypus, which one? Agent P croissant is what they call that one.
So the one that's most Instagrammable is definitely the first one. And if you can go back to it, I mean, it's really impressive how Disney put this out there. They made sure that M is clearly visible in the right way. It doesn't look like they're WWs. So I'm impressed by that. And this looks really yummy. And I think to hold it up, it looks really yummy. What disturbs me the most about the 3 you showed, if you can show the second one, is you and I recently did a video on our personal Facebook showcasing what happens when you combine Coca-Cola and dessert. And it did not go well. And so I have no confidence that this is going to be yummy whatsoever, because those Coca-Cola Oreos were nasty. I ate about 12, but they were nasty. But I'll go with the first one as far as my gram.
How about you, Kyle? Which one would you throw up on your gram?
I have to go with the taco cookie.
Okay. Yeah, see?
People love tacos, first of all.
People do.
And they like, is it cake? Like you just referenced the other day, that is it cake? Is it a taco? Is it a cookie? Like people are gonna be mind blown.
And Kyle's after the engagement. If I tweet a taco, people will engage. Definitely go with the taco. He's the man.
Well, especially if you're going to one of the Tuesday events.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's true.
What? In the realm of things I think Kyle would actually eat, I spotted this over at the Tap House. Okay, so on the left we have a macaroni and cheese croquette. So basically, we're talking fried macaroni and cheese bite.
Can I call it out? Can I call a timeout?
Yes.
We need to invoke the 25th Amendment and have our CEO ousted because this is an invalid opinion.
So I spotted this. Like I say, the tasty fried macaroni and cheese bites, but they also have this like charcuterie board in a cup. As well. Both of those feel. I was like, but I don't know, Kyle. Do you know like and the cheeses and the olives, or would you be like picking out very?
I would eat the meat and cheese. I would not do the olives, and it looks like there might be some sort of like green pepper in the mac and cheese. I would still try them.
Okay.
Because they look good. And also, yeah, I used to get these mac and cheese bites from Target that were little triangles. And we had a deep fryer at work, and it wasn't like one where you had to like dump the basket. It's called an auto fry. You put it in, you put a certain number of time, and it dumps it out. I would make those, and they would be so amazing. And then they told us to stop using the fryer for personal items. So probably a good move. But they were great while they lasted.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, I'm sorry. That is great.
The location that most embraced the theme of the evening, I'm giving that over to the Fairfax Fair. because over there you can get a holiday turkey popover. This is pretty much holiday dinner in a single handful. It's got mashed potatoes and gravy and roast turkey and cranberry chutney. But then next to it, you've got what they're calling just the sides popover. And this, Doobie, is mac and cheese with collard greens on cornbread in a popover. And then on the bottom left, you've got a PB&J donut, self-explanatory there. And then you also have a Kermit frozen banana shake with it's banana and white chocolate. So, I mean, that sounds tasty. The green is matcha. And there's a cranberry adult beverage as well. So, like I say, that just to me was totally the season, right? Everything just screams Christmas on there.
Well, I think what we need to do is send you back to Philly and then have you compare that sandwich that you got there to this Pop'em or whatever you called it from
Popover.
Jollywood Nights. I'm sure they'll compare favorably.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be hard to differentiate them.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the item I most want to try, it's alcohol. And it is a caramel apple cider. It's got the Werther's caramel, apple cider, cinnamon, and it's using a apple pie moonshine, which I know is quite tasty from Old Smoky in it as well. That's at the Market, which I had to look up because I'm like, the Market, where is this place? It is the eatery that it's like the on the backside of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway as you're walking into Toy Story, that kiosk there where you get like coffees and stuff like that. That's where the Market can be found. And so I was like, okay, well, now I know. What a generic name, the Market. Okay.
So did they miss the opportunity to say they put all those ingredients on top of Old Smoky?
Apparently. Yes, they did. So there you go, Doobie. That's my picks for the food items at Jollywood. And like I say, we have a whole rundown of it. And I keep pestering him. We're working on trying to get a way for you to keep better track of what you're eating, I think. So it'll be fun.
A calorie tracker? A calorie tracker?
No, not a no.
Are we back to Tony's weight again?
Just ways to remember what you wanted to eat when you go on your trip. Because I personally need that, and so I'm trying to get the computer programmer guy to make it for me.
Can you show the screen again for a second? The food.
The food?
Yeah, I had a question for you guys. These spring rolls, the little like styrofoamy noodle things that they're on top of. Is there any more useless food that we are served?
Yes. That's pretty useless, but the half tomato that they put on the side of every banquet dinner.
But this is like a whole bed of things. Like at least it's not just a sprig of parsley. It's like, hey, here's something that looks like it might be food, and then it's just not.
You like them?
It's actually. Huh?
Are they supposed to be eaten? Like, I don't think you're actually supposed to.
Yeah.
Kyle thinks they're made of styrofoam.
They're not really near styrofoam. They're just not. Like I've had a couple, but I don't find them to be like fried wontons or whatever I get. But these I just don't understand.
They're just for crisp. They're like, just something like throwing a nut in your mouth or something.
But for this, it just acts as a bed for the egg rolls. Like, yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, if there was something else on top of it that you could eat it together, but then it's like you eat your spring rolls and now you just have a pile of styrofoam.
I feel like I would toss it with this I think this is a take on an old fashioned over here with the rosemary sprig. Mm-hmm. I can see tossing a few of those to be crispy and salty with my super sweet alcoholic beverage. But I'm not a fan of them. I like the chow mein noodles that they do that are fried or whatever. I forget what kind of noodles these are that they're fried, but yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of them. But this is the one that really gets me because this is one of those things that it just looks, there's no way to photograph this well, but I am sure that it is so tasty because it is just fried.
Fried equals good as long as you use the fryer that you're permitted to use.
Yeah.
But yeah,
All right.
no, go ahead, DB.
I was just gonna say, do you want to stick around a bit? You don't have to, but we're talking about some stuff that you could contribute to if you want to stick around. Up to you.
I might stick around. We'll see. I haven't had my coffee yet.
Okay. We have now entered the Around LP section, which we are still looking for a video intro for. We don't have one. Around LP, Alex Rife has an interview with young Matthew Lamb, and that's not him. What that is, he plays Elliot on ABC's new show High Potential. He obviously got nothing obvious about this whatsoever. He plays the son of the lead character. Pretty small role, but a very cute and memorable role. So I was very excited to see this interview on LP. I haven't read it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. You're a big fan of this show too, right, Rebekah?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I wasn't sure initially because it's so I don't want to say played out, but it's a kind of an aspect of detective shows that we've seen so many times. But I like it. I'm nervous because it once again is introducing that overarching story element. So if they bail on the series because it isn't performing, I'm going to be left hanging, and that frustrates me. I prefer now my TV to be kind of sealed within a single episode. So if it goes away tomorrow, I'm not left hanging.
Let me help you out. The overarching thing: he is not dead. He did not run away. Something bad happened to him, and they will find him and live happily ever after. There. So you can put that aside and enjoy the show. You're welcome.
Yeah, I have your assurances on that, huh?
You are welcome. Hearing Kyle's food opinion.
Right? Yeah, totally.
Kyle opines on a thing. Also around LP, don't forget, follow us on Twitter because we now have this fun thing called the DDDYK, Daily Disney Did You Know? And I need to remember to do this every day to show it off here. So today's is did you know construction on Disneyland began on July 17th? No, July 16th. Try saying July 16th without saying 17th. We're so used to saying July 17th. July 16th, 1954, 1 year and 1 day prior to the grand opening ceremony. And there is what it looked like, and there is what it became. Nice. Daily Disney Did You Know? Thank you for that one. All right. We have no pocket picks today, but we do have... So since today we don't have a show tomorrow, I'm going to do Friday and Saturday today. So on this day in 2014, 10 years ago, final day for the Hollywood Studios Backlot Tour.
Aw.
Is a very sad day in the life of our son.
Did he ever get to be one of the... I guess he had to be an adult to be in the pre-show, right?
Yeah, we had a friend do it once, but that's the closest we've come to doing it. I never did it. I don't think Rebekah ever did it.
No,
I was for this. Yeah, me either. But our friends the Nermies did. They're Canadian, so they're nice. Backlot Tour closed 10 years ago today. You know, that's one that I would have guessed was more than 10 years. Usually I'm like, wow, it's been that long
time ago.
All right. And on this day, an even bigger event, perhaps I feel like this is not getting enough play. It was 5 years ago today that the best attraction in the history of Disney opened. The dedication of the Disney Skyliner 5 years ago today. Thanks to attractions. Were you there?
Not right here, but I was there when on the opening day, one of the first guests to ride it got a free pin, came back to my hotel room, found a free pin sitting on my nightstand.
So this is a video from Attractions Magazine. I quickly found this because I forgot to do this in the pre-show stuff. So I'm sorry if we have our own, but thanks, Matt. So you wrote this on day one, Kyle. Were you at all nervous?
No. I mean, I guess I have a certain level of trust in Disney. This was before they smacked into each other like later that week. That coming in for a landing, it was always a little weird, but no, I wasn't that worried about it. I did check the weather first because I'm like, I don't want to be up here in a storm. But we did quickly find that we liked, as most people do, prefer the unwrapped ones.
For sure. Yes, as a writer, that is definitely preferable. But I understand because just visually going around the resort, I understand. My single biggest pro tip for anyone visiting Disney World: go potty before you get on the Skyliner. All right, and Saturday, December 28th, on this day in 1994, which would be what, 30 years ago?
Yes.
Very good. Math in your head.
Wow.
Well, he only does 5s, 10s now, so
that helps a lot. Michael Eisner officially canceled Disney's America. That's right. The theme park that was to be built in Virginia, celebrating Disney's America, was canceled. So I invite you today, go celebrate Defunct Land. Everyone knows this channel if you're a theme park fan, an incredible channel. Go watch their video on the war for Disney's America and learn more about the
Tony
history
turned his camera
of
on.
Disney's America. All right, Tony's waving. Does that mean you want to get on here? What do you got to say, Tony?
I have a question for the panel while we're here. Would Disney's America still be there today as it was revealed in the 90s?
It couldn't even be there in the 90s as it was revealed in the 90s. How would it possibly be there today?
Well, Eisner said if it weren't for his health problems and wells, he would have pushed through and kept going.
It would not have opened in the way that we saw it in the 90s, and that thing would have had to evolve.
Here's a better question. How much IP integration would be in Disney's America, and how would it be done?
That would be so challenging.
Keep in mind, it's on this side of the Mississippi, so you can't have Marvel.
Yeah, no, that would have been such a challenging dynamic given the just overhaul in general that we've had as a culture in how we look at and regard Disney, not Disney, American history in general. And then you add on to that the layer of kind of entertainment to it. And yeah, no, the problematic is only like a mild term for what they've been dealing with.
The way the country has developed, Disney is secretly thankful that this project did not come to be.
I also ask because look at California Adventure, most of that is on borrowed ideas from Disney's America. And how drastically that park has changed just from being California.
It's interesting because like you say, you look at California Adventure, and we did not maintain a lot of that kind of history for as long as, like I know people talk about the IP aspect, but you just look at the reality of that movie with Whoopi Goldberg that kind of took you through the history of California. You know, it would be very differently received and discussed currently than it was then. Like I say, because we have shifted as a nation and how we discuss and regard.
I agree with what Doobie said. Disney today is thankful past Disney did not go through with it.
But the answer is that would be called Sam Eagle's America.
Barbecue restaurants in every land. I was just stunned that they had an attraction that was just a baseball field.
If you build it,
and it wasn't going to be like a daily baseball game. Like that's going.
Are we
to a
sure?
baseball game.
If they built it, I'm pretty sure people would have come, and we may have had Shoeless Joe and
the rest of the Black Sox.
With the pyrotechnic spectacular, have
James Earl Jones
blowing out.
James Earl Jones' voice being heard in the ether.
It was an interesting debate for me because I actually have friends in the area where it was being built, and so to hear the conversations kind of dynamically with the locals, how the locals were feeling, and some of just that aspect of it, I was like, oh, this is going to be very interesting. Just not even trying to touch on how does a theme park entertain with with American history, but just the reality of what it is to have a theme park develop in your area, in your neighborhood. She just recently, as I recall, has internet. I want to say it's been since around COVID, I think maybe finally is when she had reliable internet at her house kind of thing. And so, yeah, very, very different lifestyle out there. So, she was having trouble with some neighbors' cattle were creating trouble somehow got into her, property. So like I say, different challenges than things I've dealt with. So
I'm looking to verify. I think right now on that land is a Hilton Grand Vacations Resort.
Oh, that's funny.
Talk about anti-American.
Timeshares?
Timeshares are, I don't know, Other than DVC, they're a little shady.
It might be
TV
a
is
golf
not a
course.
fan.
Hold on.
Wow.
A little shady. All right, while Tony does his research, I have one more on this day for tomorrow. This is a big one because I feel like without us, there'd be no them. Not necessarily just us, but well, you'll see. On this day in 2009, I could not find the one from this day, but I did from 3 days later. The Disney Parks blog launched. And they kind of, I mean, we're obviously not the only ones that do it, but we've been doing this for 25 years. And they kind of came in and started doing essentially the same thing in 2009. And obviously doing it in ways
They got
we
really
never
good
could.
sources, though.
Yeah, doing it in ways we never could. And they're now one of our biggest sources, which is fine. You know, instead of sending out an email or putting out a press release, we just now go to the Parks blog. Something every company needs to do. And I think they do a really good job of it.
I was going to say, but I think there's a fascinating dynamic there where back in the day when we were first starting, a lot of this content that's now the Disney Parks blog was provided via companies that would provide news releases, press releases to organizations so that they could use it to write it up. And in essence, Disney Parks blog presents themselves as a press release, and that's where people pull from then to write their stuff rather than it being through Business Wire or through the Disney PR side or whatever. It's just out there.
For sure. They also, I mean, that is absolutely true. They also started covering things that never would have made press release level. You know, for example, like I said, this is from September 30th, and they're talking about some, menu detail of the Food and Wine Festival, which, it just would not have been covered other than people going to Food and Wine or having a contact there who's giving you information, or maybe, one of your friends there puts out an email to people like Michelle Harker back at did with merchandise. And now they had a outlet to just cover it themselves and put it out to the world, stories that never made it to the level of, putting out a press release or something. So kind of changed how coverage went. Apparently used a lot of flash back then, which is not supported
Do you see that
anymore.
URL?
DisneyParks.disney.go.com/blog. Yes.
Yeah.
Which
Dukes and Disney Parks blog lived in the same place.
stuck around for quite a while. Actually, it's relatively recently that they've just been DisneyParksBlog.com. So on this day, 15 years ago, the Disney Parks blog launched. And that's all this day in history I've got. Tony, have you been able to confirm there was now a timeshare where Disney's America would have been?
It looks like there's condos, a timeshare, a golf course, and a shopping center.
That is American as America gets.
All we just need is a slice of apple pie in that baseball field
With cheddar cheese on it.
Tony's
There's
Southern
a track.
All right. We have any more shows lives coming up today, Kyle?
I don't believe so. Do we do the fun stuff?
No, I didn't. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. We're not done yet. Don't leave. Fun stuff. Bee-nado, baby. Yesterday,
Weird to have you
911.
cough and then I hear
Wait,
it
hold on.
seconds later.
We have an
Sorry.
intro, Doobie.
Oh my.
Now that I have context for that, it's supposed to be just randomly sending it to me. That's funny.
That was fun.
That was great.
I had a hard time with this.
So 911, ABC, longtime running ABC show, kicked off their season 8 with Bee-nado, a bunch of killer bees are in an accident. They weren't driving, but they were passengers, and they get freed. 14 million killer bees unleashed on Los Angeles, and this is the part. And so
The
it was
show's in
pretty
its
cool.
7th season? 8th season.
Eighth season.
It's
yeah.
first on
Every
ABC,
season-
though, right? Or is this the second on ABC?
Second.
Okay.
Yeah, and at least the ABC seasons kind of start with a 3-episode major disaster that then concludes and goes into the rest of the season that no one cares about. So last season, it was the overturning of the cruise ship. This season, it is Bee-nado. We watched it yesterday. Rebekah, was it gross?
Okay. I knew it was gonna be a little awkward because bees make me uncomfortable, so I knew I'd get a little tense. But I wasn't expecting them to go for kind of a little bit of the ick factor so spoilers, total spoilers here, by the way. They had to have sequences where like the bees are coming out of their mouth, like they've been trapped in the cab of a truck and all the bees are in there, and then when they're trying to help the person, they're like, oh, there's blockage, he can't breathe, what's going on? And they go and look and it's bees. I'm like, oh no.
And Rebekah was in the kitchen during the scene where they got all the bees out by shoving a vacuum cleaner in his mouth and sucking them out, and you can see them all go, of course with the clear tube, so you could watch them all go through. It's disgusting.
Did they at least give him some honey?
What kind of were they hornets?
Oh, the guy said, the guy after they all came out, and he's like, oh, it came to, he's like, why do I taste honey? What'd you say, Tony?
Were they hornets or were they bees?
Killer bees.
Killer bees. Why they're being transported on the back of a truck, I don't know. But it ended.
Did Nick Cage make a cameo?
No.
So it ended with two planes, a tiny plane and a jetliner where one of the characters is on, looking like they're about to crash. And the plane has been depressurized. And based on next week's previews, it does clip. It doesn't take it out, but it clips the plane, depressurizes the plane. The pilots are incapacitated. The 911 lady on the plane is going to have to land the plane. It's a plane.
Stryker's on it. It's okay.
So it's gone even better from just killer bees to passenger landing a plane. This is so awesome. Hello, how you doing? Bonsoir to you
Now,
as well.
were there any honeycombs in the show?
No honey to be seen.
No.
Okay, because I've like if you were looking at their hives at some point, I figured Doobie would be out.
Yeah, he would have been.
There are parts which are very hard for me to watch for that reason. Not specifically honeycomb, but just the way they have the bees.
The pattern of the bees, because it's computer, so therefore it has kind of that pattern. Like, so that I could tell he was getting a little antsy because of that.
Beesy. But it's also educational because I learned while it's smart to jump in a pool if you're being chased by killer bees, they'll just hover over the pool until you come out. So you need, and every time you come up for air, they'll attack you. So you need a plan to get out of there. You can get some temporary reprieve, but you need a plan. And so they had a plan, and I don't want to spoil the plan.
Distracted the bees from the person hiding under the pool water.
Yes, if only they had a Jerry Seinfeld cameo, that would have been very funny. Anybody else watch Bee-nado?
Then Jennifer Love Hewitt would have fallen in love with the bees, if my understanding is correct.
I'm not watching Bee-nado, and especially after Rebekah's description of it, I will not be watching Bee-nado.
Watch Bee-nado. It was great.
Was this written during the writer's strike somehow by Scabs?
Streaming now on Hulu.
No. I feel like it's a deliberate writer's room fun of what is the most ridiculous, over the top, action packed fun we can have to launch this season. Because it was last season was similar, and the only reason I watched last season was because I saw the opening moments of the previous season and went, seriously, that's what the show is like. So
okay,
but I never last beyond the opening arc. That's very Sharknado. It's very that very campy, Sharknado-y type of fun. And so I watched last year's first season. It was clearly totally homage to Poseidon's Adventure.
It was exactly, and last season was even better because it had Uncle Dan in it. Uncle Dan was in the 3-episode arc.
Yeah.
And that was
so and it was such an homage to the epic cruise line disaster movie. And so this, like I say, this feels very like just be moved, just have fun, go with it. It makes no sense. No.
I really feared I would dream of bees. I did not.
I thought I would.
Do they emphasize at all that we're not killing the bees that are already an endangered species, basically? Or
you don't see?
No, they will happily kill it. Oh wait, do they kill?
No,
yeah, there's certainly times where they die, but no.
Okay.
They
trap them.
They collect them. They recollect them.
Yeah, they're collecting them.
There's no place where they like take a flamethrower at them.
No flamethrowers.
None of that.
All I know is I saw the trailer and I saw Judge Lancito from The People versus O.J. Simpson on FX in it, and I was like, oh, okay.
And
got
on
my
that note,
attention.
folks,
And buzz, bees. Oh, okay. Well, now I'm kind of out. So
go watch it. Go watch it. Go watch it. Kyle,
Doobie
please
was
watch
very
it.
excited. I watching that clip yesterday. It was hilarious.
I know that's a GIF, unfortunately, not a. I can't play it.
I was about to try to make it a video, but it's gonna take. I should have thought of it. I should have started earlier.
So, nothing left today. Tomorrow we've got Disney Trivia Live, 7:30 p.m. Pacific. You can stay around for the goodbye, Tony. Don't just leave. We're 2 minutes left, and you're signing off. Replaced by the chandelier. Can't bring you back on. Tony's got to go potty. We've got Disney Trivia Live tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. We're going to be doing Stump the Gideon. First time we're doing a Stump the Gideon, and we're doing Disney Cruise trivia because of Cruise Line Kevin, one of our newest fans. And we'll be back Monday, 9:30 a.m. to do this again. I didn't do that. We'll be back 9:30 a.m. to do this again on Monday. On Tuesday, we'll recap our football picks.
What?
Sorry.
We're 1 for 1 on our best bet so far.
Go Cowboys! Looking mediocre
Congratulations,
yesterday.
you.
Looking mediocre, but got the win. I love that they missed that last second field goal by like the most automatic field goal kicker on the planet. And that was the difference in the cover and not cover. That is a bad beat. All right. See everyone on Monday. Thanks for joining us. If you like us, like, subscribe, ring the bell. If you love us, please click that join button and support us. We appreciate it very much. Au revoir.